Crimson Trace announces Laser Guard Pro for today's most popular concealed carry firearms, combining a red or green laser sight with 150 lumen light, taking personal defense to the next level. Available now at your local dealer.
Hey y'all, it's Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Look out, we're smoking.
And indeed we are, Tom Gresham. We are smoking for sure. Hey, welcome back, Tom Gresham. It's Gun Talk. Number here is 866-TALK-GUN or Tom Talk Gun, whatever you like. By the way, don't forget to check out our videos, lots of them, on our Gun Talk page, the channel we have on YouTube. You can also see pretty much everything we do on the video side on, let's see, our Facebook page, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, a lot of different ways to see what we're up to. And of course, the Guns and Gear television show on Sportsman Channel. Let's see. First Person Defender series. It is, I guess, season 6. It was a crazy idea. We're going to take people and drop them into self-defense situations using simunitions, the law enforcement military grade force-on-force system. And it hurts like the dickens when you get shot with it. They say, well, that's the pain penalty. It'll teach you not to do that again. Well, yes, it will, because it leaves welts, and sometimes it'll draw blood if it breaks the skin just a little bit. You don't want to do that again. And so you pay a lot of attention. You try to do better the next time. We're rolling out new episodes of that every week between now and the end of November, and that's on our YouTube channel as well. A lot of things going on. Check that out. Oh, over on Gun Talk, shopguntalk.com, shopguntalk.com. We have new hats, new cool things, a lot of things for sale over there. If you like a gunny kind of hat, but you want to go under the radar, we've got some of those. You'll know what they are. Your friends may know. Other people may not. Check that out at shopguntalk.com. All right, straight to the phones now. Line 2, Clint's with us out of Oklahoma. Hello, Clint. Welcome to Gun Talk.
Hey, Tom. I called to recommend one, but I thought about another one while we were at it. There are several museums here in Oklahoma, in the heartland, that are worth a visit, but right over here in Claremore, Oklahoma, on historic Route 66 is the J.M. Davis Arms Museum, and it's military weapons and Old West weapons, and it is really worth a visit, and it's right on 66 if anybody's coming down. And then the other one, of course, is Woolly Rock in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Woolly Rock is the museum. It was Frank Phillips Oil. It was his home. And it has one of the most complete Colt collections that you'll ever see. It also has one of the most complete taxidermy collections anyone has ever seen, including an elephant head.
Well, and I had heard of the J.M. Davis Museum before. And it's one of those, it's on my list, and I've never made it over there to see that one. But I had not heard of what's the name of the other one?
Well, it's called Woolly Rock. It's Wooloroc, and it's in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and it is the home of Frank W. Phillips of Phillips Oil, Phillips 66. And there are lots of live animals on the property, buffalo, I mean, you name it. Wow. And then the museum itself, it's they have one of the most complete old Colt collections. I mean, we're talking frontline specials, I mean, all the way back. And taxidermy. The taxidermy stuff there is incredible.
Well, I want to jump in because people may not understand why you'd care about taxidermy. If all you've ever seen is deer heads that your local taxidermist did, you don't really understand. When you get museum quality taxidermy done by these world-class taxidermists, it's an actual work of art, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. And when you go in the entrance to Woolly Rock, and anybody can look it up. I mean, it's been open for many, many decades.
Right.
But you go into like the third section and you look to your right, and there's an African elephant head on the wall. Huh.
'And it's one of the most incredible things you'll ever see.
Okay, I am on the website now. It's WOOLAROC, woolaroc.org.
Oh, sorry, I misspelled it. It's AROC. Okay,
That's okay. That's all right. I got it. That's woolaroc, WOOLAROC.org. They have art. They have firearms. They have mountain man camp set up. They got a lodge. They got wildlife preserve. This is cool. I mean, I had never heard of this, but now I want to go.
No, you need to go because this place is absolutely incredible. There's like a rotunda in there with an airplane hanging in it, and it was one of Frank Phillips' airplanes that I guess they flew to places to check out where to drill for oil.
Oh,
and
okay, sure.
They're deeply tied with Claremore, which of course is the birthplace of Will Rogers.
Right.
I live in Rogers County, home of Rogers State University. Claremore, Oklahoma is which is not that far from Bartlesville, is the birthplace of Will Rogers. And you need to see it. I mean, there's stuff from there from Wally Post. There's Indian art.
Well, now let me jump in because there's something going on here that's interesting. I hear the excitement in your voice and other people who are calling in, and there is, and this is going to surprise people who are not really gun people, may not quite get it, but there's a real interest in history on the part of a lot of gun folks because we kind of can track history through the guns we have, can't we?
We really do. And I mean, I've got old firearms, new firearms. I'm wearing one on my hip. You chewed me out a couple of years ago for carrying a Glock unchambered.
Yes.
Well, you'll be pleased to know I'm carrying a 1911 cocked and locked now. So.
Good man. And the thing is, it's okay. If you say, okay, I just don't like a gun without a thumb safety with a round in the chamber. Okay. Fortunately, there are a lot of handguns that have external safety or something else, but you've settled on the 1911, which is, hey, nothing wrong with that. It's been good for more than 100 years, right?
Well, I spent 11 years in the Army, and I carried one when I went in. Then they went to the Beretta, and I was like, what's this?
I hear you. Well, look, thank you so much for the heads up. I had never heard of Woolaroc Museum and Wildlife Preserve, but now, since they're not that far apart, I can go make both of them. I can go to that one. I can go to the J.M. Davis Museum. That sounds like a field trip for me. I'm going to make that happen. Again, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate that. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. If you've been to a museum or if you'd like to go to a museum, what are the kinds of things that would interest you? I mean, are you a military firearms person? Because there are a lot of folks who really love those. Or would you rather look at older guns? I mean, what would be your interest as you're looking for firearms in a museum? 866-TALK-GUN.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime. Setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at timneytriggers.com.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. The time is now to band together. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
Built to perform in the harshest conditions, the Ruger American pistol can take it all, from ice to dust and everything in between. The Ruger American pistol features a short take-up trigger, Novak sights, and a recoil-reducing barrel cam with low-mass slide for reduced felt recoil. Plus, a modular grip system with 3 sizes to fit almost any hand. Check it out at Ruger.com. The Ruger American pistol, because anything else would be un-American.
Let's go straight to the phones for range reports. Line 4, John's with us out of Alabama. Hello, John. What you been shooting, man?
Well, I used to carry 9s.
Mm-hmm.
And matter of fact, my 9s were the answer to the guy with the RIP ammunition.
Oh.
Mine were a match pair of 92 Tauruses, which is an exact duplicate of his Beretta.
Right.
With one exception.
Okay.
My Taurus 92s, which I've since sold because I went to 45 and 40, would eat anything you fed them.
Ah, okay, good deal.
I mean, they would eat anything you. And matter of fact, a buddy of mine, he says, "Let me show you a little trick about your 92 Taurus." He popped the slide off, pulled my barrel out, stuck a 40 barrel in, put the slide back on, and I was shooting 40. And all it did is expand the lips of the clip a little bit. And when you switched it back, he took his little pliers and pinched the lips just a little bit, and I was back to 9mm.
The kids don't try this at home. I would not recommend that. All right, so I understand that
he was a gunsmith.
Okay, you've got yourself
into that either.
You got a 45 now?
Now, well, I've got a lot of people used to poo-poo them, but I've got a Norinco 45, which has since proven itself to be a decent 45, except the guy who owned it before me, he gutted the thing and put Gold Cup guts in it. And I've got a Glock 45. I've got a Springfield Armory Ultra Compact. And then my dream child. I've got a 1960 National Match, 1911.
Where did you find that?
Well, my next door neighbor, who was a best friend of mine, his brother was a competition shooter, and he bought him at either the tail end of 59 or the first part of 1960. Shot about 450 matches, and then he passed away, and Al didn't care anything about 45, so he turned it over to me. And that thing, like I was telling your call screener, is the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
It's
the
like
only thing wrong with it.
Yes.
It is so pretty. You're scared to carry it.
Well, and when you shoot them, they run as smoothly as a fine Singer sewing machine. They just run.
And it's got the thing that amazed me, when you run out of travel, plan on it going bang. It's got a 6-ounce trigger.
Well, of course, you remember the deal was way back then, they had somebody at the end of the assembly line who knew what he was doing, basically hand-fitting everything in that pistol.
For the first 6 to 8 years, they had a gunsmith doing the finishing on them.
Yep. Exactly right. I mean, a Colt Gold Match, National Match, Gold Cup or National Match is just a thing of beauty. It is fabulous. Can I assume that you're probably going to be holding on to that one?
With my cold dead fingers.
That's the only way someone's going to have to inherit that one. I gather that. That's very cool. And I appreciate the story about how you moved from the 9 to the 45. We each kind of find our comfort place there. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Good stuff. Let's see. Yes, we have room. Alex is on line 3 out of Texas. Hey, Alex, you're on Gun Talk.
Hello, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Hey, about 2 years ago, I bought a 9mm Glock 17, and the salesman sold me a box of solid points.
Okay.
And about a year later, I was showing the ammo to my son, and he said that I shouldn't have bought solid points, that I should have bought hollow points. He said solid points go right through anything and keep on going and go through the next thing that they hit and keep on going.
Okay.
What's your opinion?
Tell me what the concern is, because I'm trying to figure out, what are you concerned about ammo going through?
Well, I live in what they call a townhouse. It's really a duplex.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it for self-defense here in my home, and the concern is that it would
go through the walls.
If I shot an intruder, it would go through him and the wall next.
Okay. All right. Let me get you up to speed here, because this is going to be pretty easy. We've done a lot of testing, shooting handgun bullets through multiple sheetrock walls. First of all, full metal jacket, solid point ammo is really a poor choice for self-defense. It doesn't stop people well. But you do need ammo like that, because you should be shooting 500 or 1,000 rounds a year at an absolute bare minimum. You should be putting 1,000 rounds a year through your self-defense gun, just so that you are really super familiar with it. Having said that, hollow point ammo works much better, or hollow point or expanding ammo of any type works better at stopping people. But, and here comes the big but, all handgun ammo will go through multiple walls. That is the simple truth of it. All handgun ammo will go through multiple walls of sheetrock. The only thing, Alex, that I know of that won't, because all rifle ammo will, slugs will, handgun ammo, all handgun ammo we tested would go through 3 walls of 2 pieces of sheetrock separated by insulation. So we're going, through one wall into a room, through another wall into a room, and then out the next wall. The only thing we have found that won't do that is a shotgun using birdshot. And a shotgun using birdshot is amazingly effective at inside most room distances. When you're inside less than 10 yards, birdshot is stunningly lethal and effective. And yet the small shot, 7.5, 8 shot, will not go through a whole bunch of walls, and when it does, it doesn't have much energy. So I don't know if that helps you. Is that going to help you at all, Alex?
Oh, yeah. That helps a lot.
Okay. And, obviously you're talking about a shotgun. And I would say a 20 gauge is perfectly fine, adequate for self-defense stuff inside, and use regular birdshot, because you know the drill. If you know shotguns at all, if you're at 10 feet or less and something like that, you're shooting a wad of shot that's maybe 2 inches across at most. It's essentially functioning like a slug. It takes people apart. And yet when it hits the sheetrock, all that little small shot's going to spread out. And if it goes through the wall at all, it might pepper somebody on the other side, but chances are it's not even going to do that. If I were in your situation, that would be my choice for a self-defense load. Look, I appreciate the call. If people get upset about it and they worry about it and go, okay, well, the idea that somebody would sell you full metal jacket ammo, and maybe the salesman, I don't know, maybe the salesman didn't know that was intended to be self-defense ammo. I don't know. But look, this is up to you. You're the one who has to decide what's appropriate for what you're doing. You have to figure out, okay, this is a self-defense load. Is this the best thing? And I'm sorry, I don't want to denigrate people who work in gun stores, but the sad reality is there are a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about, who work behind the counters at gun stores. And that is especially true when you get to some places where people buy ammo, like Walmarts or big box stores, or places where you may be buying ammo right next to the paint department. And the guy who is waiting on you in the gun section was working in the paint department last week, but he heard, because somebody told him that this would be the right thing, and now he's telling you because he's an expert, because he's been working behind the gun counter for a week. Do your own research. Go look on our website, guntalk.com. Go look at our videos where we actually test this stuff. You know, it's like, well, how do you know that's true? Well, I know it's true because I've tested it. I've shot a lot of ammo through a lot of walls to find out what goes through and what doesn't. 22s will usually go through a couple of walls. Every handgun, I think every handgun above caliber 22 goes through all three walls. Certainly all rifles do. You know what doesn't? This is interesting. That's weird. All rifles except 223. Weirdly enough, an AR-15 does not go through all those walls. And it doesn't matter if you're using hollow point or not. I know that is counterintuitive because you think, well, that's going to penetrate through everything. You used a full metal jacket, 223. No, it actually doesn't. The bullets generally turn sideways. You might go through two walls, but I don't think we ever got one to go through a third wall, shooting it out of a 223. 308s, hunting rifles, of course, not a problem. They'll go through all of those. But that was interesting that the AR-15, people say, well, I would never use that for home defense. Well, actually, you might want to. If you're, particularly what I would do, I would use varmint bullets. Those very fast expanding bullets that essentially disintegrate on impact. They would be effective at stopping an attacker, and they won't go through multiple walls, and the recoil is low, and it's easier to hit what you're aiming at with a rifle. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And you would have a lot of ammo available should you need it, because sometimes these home invasions involve multiple bad guys. One thing I would offer, and this is, I know it's going to sound crazy to some people, keep a pair of electronic hearing muffs next to your bed at night. That way, if you get a bump in the night, you can put on your ear muffs, you can turn them on, they amplify sound, you can hear what's going on in the other rooms. And if, unfortunately, you had to actually shoot inside of your house, you maybe don't lose your hearing, or you wouldn't lose your hearing. Shooting an AR inside your house is going to be deafening. So just food for thought there. Hey, when we come back, let's talk about taking care of our veterans and a program that you may want to get involved with. It's a good one. It's one that I've been working with for a while. Our number, 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk.
A girl can't go wrong with something in basic black, like an AR-15.
Some things never go out of style, like Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
And we're back with you. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. This is a story that's concerning. It's interesting, but also a bit alarming. A Vietnam War veteran sentenced to 7 years in prison for buying a gun in the 1980s. Story goes, a 70-year-old Texas man was sentenced to more than 7 years in prison. A 70-year-old man sentenced to more than 7 years in prison after pleading guilty to buying an automatic rifle in the 1980s. Alfred Pick of Plano purchased the M14 rifle at a gun show. He said the rifle was similar to a rifle he had used as an Army lieutenant in the Vietnam War. This gun was very rare, said the man's attorney, Ryan Sandell. So you see, at the time it was rare to see one, so he instantly, had a connection with it. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, or rather, correction, the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, BATFI, raided Pick's house last year on a tip about the weapon. 2 weeks before the raid, his wife of 40 years had died of cancer, according to the station that reported this. Pick and his wife had a gun collection of, wait for it, 14 weapons. He had 14 guns. Many of them were collector's items, said his attorney. Pick was awarded the Silver Star for his service in Vietnam and was briefly a prisoner of war, according to KTVT. Pick's friend said he should have received a lighter sentence because of his service. Just kind of want a heads up for those things. I'm not going to go on an ATF rant, easy as that might be. For those who don't know, I was explaining this to some friends this past week. They were not aware. It was, in fact, Democrat Congressman John Dingell who branded the ATF a, quote, rogue agency. It was Democrat John Dingell who first used the term jackbooted thugs to refer to the ATF. It was not Wayne LaPierre from the NRA. He repeated it, but it was a Democratic congressman who first used that term, jackbooted thugs. You don't have to do a lot of digging to find an awful lot of reports, evidence of ATF abuse of power. In this case, I don't know the ins and outs of this case, don't know exactly what happened. I don't know, the whole story. It is certainly concerning, and they supposedly received a tip, which kind of brings up one of the things of, if more than one person knows a secret, it's probably not a secret anymore. It's kind of food for thought. And yeah, my friends know, but it's okay because, they understand. Wink, wink, yeah. People talk. Stuff happens. So just kind of food for thought for you there. As you get ready for, hunting seasons are well underway in a lot of places. People are out and about in the woods. Did you buy anything this year? Is there anything new in your pack, on your rifle, or the shotgun, the rifle that you're carrying? One of the things I think a lot of people are coming to for hunting, when you're hunting with a rifle, it's part of a bigger picture. The long-range shooting craze, if you will, which is simply a challenging endeavor. It's hard to hit targets at long range for a number of reasons. Targets appears to be smaller. It's way out there. You have the drop of the bullet, but you also have wind involved. It requires you to be more precise. It requires you to use more precise gun, scope, everything else. One of the things that I think maybe people are realizing is the need to be really accurate on the distance. Because if you can know what the distance is, you can dial that in, or you maybe use, if you have stadia lines on your scope, you can go, okay, well, it's 550 yards, and I know which line to use to hold on, and that takes care of the drop. Basically, here's my question. That's a long lead up to, do you carry a laser rangefinder? Laser rangefinders are not new. We've had them for, 15 years, 20 years maybe. I go way back to when, what was the company? Rangemaster? That crazy split image rangefinder we used to use 30 years ago. We tried to put the two images together. And we used those. They were decent, but nothing like a laser rangefinder. And then the first laser rangefinders were insanely expensive and big and heavy. Of course, with miniaturization and microtechnology, now you can have one that weighs, 4 ounces, 6 ounces for a good laser rangefinder. Kind of crazy. So I guess the question is, one, do you have a laser rangefinder for hunting? And the real question here, the one I really want to know is, have you had an occasion to use it? And if so, how did you use it? How far did you, look at the deer, elk, whatever it was, and were you able to make the shot? Did you actually use the information from the laser rangefinder? This is real world. This is using the technology we have today, out in the field, actually hunting with it. So just curious, if you've used a laser rangefinder or if you carry one, I would love to know. Our number here is 866-TALK-GUN, or just call me at Tom Talk Gun. We'll be right back in just a minute.
Now at LibertySafe.com, you can buy a Liberty Safe at a great price and receive 12 months interest-free payments with 0 down and 0% APR, with some safes as low as $20 a month on approved credit. Peace of mind, lifetime warranty, and in-home delivery service. Go to LibertySafe.com now for 12 months interest-free payments with 0 down and 0% APR. LibertySafe.com.
Founded with the singular purpose of building fine sporting firearms, Kimber creates a handgun for every person and a rifle for every adventure. While embracing modern manufacturing techniques, every Kimber depends on practiced hands for assembly, fit, and finish. There's no compromise in features, materials, or performance. Synonymous with quality, precision, and excellence, and made in America. Kimber is what all guns should be. Visit KimberAmerica.com. That's KimberAmerica.com.
Tired of searching the web for the best deals on guns, ammunition, and gear? Download the free Gun Dealio app today for deals and discounts right at your fingertips. Handguns, rifles, shotguns, ammo, optics, lasers, gun safes, targets, gun cleaners, grips, slings, and much, much more. Save money on products you want from the companies you love. New deals, discounts, and rebates added daily. Gun Dealio, available for free in the App Store and Google Play.
Laser sights enhance shooting fundamentals, sight alignment, and trigger control. Training with laser sights increases muzzle awareness, improves and corrects sight alignment and sight picture, and aids in acquiring and maintaining sight picture in low light conditions. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our laser training video, The Laser's Edge, and learn why Crimson Trace is making laser sights standard equipment.
We're back with Tom Gresham, 866 Talk Gun. We try to take care of our veterans in any way we can, frankly. And there are a lot of different groups that do a lot of different things that are great things for our veterans. And you can't be involved in all of them. And so one I picked, because it gels with my interest, is HAVA, Honored American Veterans Afield. Joining me right now from the firearms company, SIG, but also from HAVA is Tom Taylor. Hey, Tom, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Tom. How are you?
Excellent. I guess we both just got back from Pittsburgh at the NASGW, and of course, we didn't see each other there.
No, we didn't. We were going different directions, and I know some of our guys were on the streamed gun talk there, but we didn't cross paths.
That's okay. We didn't cross the streams either, which is always a good thing.
True.
All right. Well, I tell you what. Let's do this first. Do you want to share any of the news of SIG, of cool products? If you want to throw a couple of those out before we talk about HAVA.
I mean, I guess the biggest news, they're not brand new, but I mean, the one that just keeps on ticking right now is the P365. You know, we are actually ramping up by the thousands of units that we're making, but we still can't keep up with the demand. And as you know, at the NASGW show, both their awards as well as the Professional Outdoor Writers Association, POMA Caliber Awards, it took home the best new innovation overall. We were Innovator of the Year for, I think, that and our other hottest new product, which is the BDX optic system with the holdover. Maybe too much to get into how it works, but if you haven't checked it out, you should get out and check it out. It's a phone app linked with a rangefinder, linked with a scope that gives you a set holdover point, and it's absolutely phenomenal for any kind of shooting or hunting. And right now it's mostly a hunting setup, but the tactical setup will be right behind it. So those are the hottest things going right now for sure. And then the M17 military pistol, of course.
Right, and I'm sure the number one question, probably on a 10-to-1 basis, the number one question you got is always, when can we get P365s? We want more of them.
Yeah, we get it. We get it all the time. I mean, it's just one of those products that I think could be, generational in terms of the usage and the demand. So, but yeah, we are. I'm not going to say we're going to catch up soon, but we're certainly making them by the thousands right now. So the numbers are tremendous that we're getting in the market. So hopefully, you'll see them a little better flow as we keep going forward.
All right. HAVA, Honored American Veterans Afield. This thing is, how old is HAVA now? It's got to be getting close to 7 to 10 years, I would think.
Yeah, well, actually, we just celebrated our 10th anniversary last year. We're in our 11th year of operation right now. We just completed San Antonio yesterday for our 11th annual Family Day in San Antonio.
So give people like the 30-second elevator pitch on what it is.
Yeah, Honored American Veterans Afield, HAVA, the acronym that a lot of people know, we started out by taking 4 guys on a hunt back in 2007. There was no organization, but those of us involved kind of said, you know what, we think there's something really special here. There were 6 outdoor companies involved, and we just said, let's do something on a larger scale. We took 4 more guys hunting and decided to form an organization and did what we call a family day down in San Antonio at the old National Shooting Complex down there. And that's migrated over to San Antonio Police Department training facility, and we do range days, family days there. We do them at Rock Castle in Kentucky. We do them at the old Blackwater facility, now called Academy, in North Carolina, as well as a number of smaller events, shooting range day events throughout the country, and then hunts all over the country. And about 8,500 disabled veterans later, we've got an organization that we hope is making a difference in the lives of our wounded warriors and disabled vets.
And the other thing is, at a lot of these events, you'll have some of the very top shooters from Max Michel level of shooters who show up to help them, to shoot with them. It's just amazing. And what I keep hearing is people, veterans who say, I was afraid I would never be able to shoot again. I was afraid I would never be able to go hunting again. And this is just fabulous. I can do this thing that I love. And that's really what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that and just the social aspect. When we have these family days and seeing the camaraderie that's generated with the folks that attend is pretty amazing. And I think that's why the Jerry Micheliks and Doug Koenigs and Todd Jarrett's and Max Michels and Lena Micheliks. And yesterday, Daniel Horner was in San Antonio, who actually we just signed at SIG, which was nice. And he came and performed yesterday. And he actually did a performance or an exhibition with 3 disabled shooters from our Learn to Shoot Again program. So, yeah, it's just been an absolute wonderful experience to be involved supporting these great Americans.
If people want to take a look at what you've been doing and actually want to get involved in it, honoredveterans.org, how can people help with HAVA?
Well, the 2 ways is you can go on our website and you can watch our events. We can always use volunteers. People are certainly welcome to support us financially. The industry is doing very, very good to us, but we can always use plenty of financial support. But it's just a matter of kind of watching our website. You can send emails if you want to serve as a range officer, a hunt guide, a volunteer for various things. So if you go to honoredveterans.org, it's right there to be able to kind of see the organization, what we do, and how you can send us a note of how you'd like to help or donate monetarily.
I'm on the site now, and one of the pictures just flashed by. I had to chuckle at it. You got a veteran who is shooting from a sitting position, but he's taking off his lower leg prosthesis and using that as a monopod. It is like the funniest, coolest thing.
Yeah, and you should see the different strategies that our Learn to Shoot Again program is coming up with for folks who have more significant injuries and amputations and such to shoot. That's a big part of that program, and so it's been really, really gratifying for those in the industry who have worked on it.
It is. You can go and you can donate your time, and I can 100% guarantee you will get more out of it than you put into it every single time.
No doubt about it.
Tom, it's a wonderful thing you do, and I know you've recently gotten some awards on that. It's just very cool. We don't need to go into all of that whole deal. It is a great program, and people in the firearms industry put this thing together, and we gunners, shooters can help, and I would just encourage people to do it. Thank you so much, my friend, for doing this.
Well, we appreciate it, and always glad to have you around, and we really appreciate you letting us talk about it on Gun Talk.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at it's Todd Jarrett, Jerry Michelick, Lena Michelick, Max Michel, David Horner, just unbelievable, the people involved. I would encourage everybody. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, sir. I would encourage everybody, take a look at it. If you're looking for something to do, you're thinking, I need a little bit something special, a little bit maybe a little bit more meaning in my life. Just saying. HonoredVeterans.org. HonoredVeterans.org. It's a pretty cool, worthwhile program to help our veterans. Hey, they gave for us, so we can give a little bit for them, can't we? 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. We're open lines, looking for your range reports. I'm Tom Gresham. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk. Hey, think about temperatures are dropping, fall's here, winter's coming real fast. One of the things I do with my Blink cameras, I've got them set up at my remote cabin. So they've got a cool deal. I've got you can read the temperature. I've got a thermometer built in, so with my remote app on my phone, I can see what the temperature is inside and outside. I've got the camera inside. It's got an alert system on it, and I can set it so if the temperature goes below a certain number, and I set it up whatever I want it to be, I get an alert and I know that something has happened. The power's gone out, the heat's gone out. Well, not the power, but the heat has gone out, and the cabin's getting too cold, which could end up freezing the pipes, and I could call a neighbor and have them go take a look at it. It's just one of the interesting side benefits, I guess, because you get the Blink camera system for security. You want to be able to see if there's somebody snooping around your house. You get these alerts on your phone. You get a little video. You can see what's going on. You can punch in and watch it live video anytime you want. It saves clips for you. And I mean, that's the whole deal. You want this alert before something happens. If somebody is outside your house, you're thinking, what's this creep doing? Imagine if you had your family inside, you're away. You could call them and say, hey, there's somebody outside. You guys, and you have some instructions for them. Call 911, whatever. At the same time, there are these other benefits, whether it's seeing if somebody's left a package for you, finding out if there's critters walking around, and I certainly do that as well. I got to tell you, I love this system. It is just the coolest thing. It's little bitty cameras. They're real simple to set up. They work off the internet. They go right to your phone. You got a phone app. It's as simple as it can be. Now, Blink is an Amazon company. It works with Alexa, of course. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than what the other guys charge, and to get an extra 15% off for being a Gun Talk listener, just go to blinkprotect.com/gun talk. That's blinkprotect.com/gun talk. It's cool stuff. I'm looking at getting ready I'm going to be deer hunting end of next week, getting all my stuff ready. Got my rifle, got my ammo, all sighted in. It's interesting. I went with a scope that might surprise people. I'm going to be hunting in Idaho, hunting out west. There's some long distances. And I have a scope that the top magnification on is 6 power. People out there using 4 to 12s, 4 to 16 power. Lots of magnification. Here I am topping out at 6 power. What's that about? Well, I can remember when everybody hunted out west with a fixed 4 power scope. That was the deal. If you've never tried it, here's something fun for you to try. With your cool scope, set it at 4 power if you have a chance to shoot out at 300 or 400 yards, and do some shooting. I think you may be surprised if you're used to cranking it way up to high magnification. You'll say, well, it looks small. Okay, so what? That doesn't matter what it looks like. Can you hit what you're aiming at? And you're going to find that at 4, 5, or 6 power, hitting a deer at 300 or 400 yards is just not difficult. But why would you? Well, you probably heard me say for a long time, I am a real fan of the scopes that are in the low magnification range. 1 to 5, 2 to 6, that level. Why is that? Well, depending on where you are, and if you're in an area where you're like walking through the woods, keep it on the lowest power. That way, if a deer jumps up right in front of you, you can throw that rifle up, keep both eyes open, and at 1, 1.5, or 2 power, you can basically it's as fast as it can be. It's as fast as a red dot. It's crazy how fast it is. Now, if you had it cranked up to 6 power, or 8 power, or 9 power, no, forget about it. It's not going to happen. So basically, I keep my scopes on the lowest power until I need more power. So, I mean, if something's out there at 300 or 400 yards, there's plenty of time to crank the scope up. I mean, that's what I do. So just kind of a thought for hunters. If you've got a 3 to 9, keep it on 3. You'll find you'll have plenty of time if he's way out there. And if you don't have time at 3 or 4 power, you can still hit him at 300 or 400 yards. Trust me on this. It's a lot easier than you think. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. What are you taking into the woods this year? And are you carrying a rangefinder? I'd love to get that range report from you.